Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Today I am bringing you another Destiny 2 build video. Today we're going to be taking a look at this Strand Hunter build I made. Now, I know I've been making a lot of Hunter builds recently, and I do show a lot of bias to Hunter considering it's my main, so I will have probably a Titan build as my next video. But for now, let me show you this brand new Strand Hunter build that I've honestly been rocking the most within the past couple weeks, I would say. This build's main goal and focus is to just create as much threadlings, as much little minions to run around and deal damage for you. We're going to be using Threadling Grenade to take care of that, as well as creating a bunch of clones of ourselves that will distract the enemies as well as spawn more Threadlings. This build also has a way to pretty much have infinite uptime on your unraveling rounds for your strand weapons, which has honestly kind of become my favorite weapon buff as of recently, just because I think it's very good, but seeing the green particles and schmeckles flying around is a kind of oddly satisfying, some might say. Now, this build itself, when I first made it, I kind of created it just to be fun. I kind of want to have a minion threadling master build, but the more I used it and the more I actually got to try it out, I realized it's actually very potent and in-game content too, which really surprised me. So I've been using this in some Legend Onslaught, which is the gameplay you're seeing right now. I've been using this in some GMs as well, and it's honestly been cooking way more than I expected. So because of that, I figured I might as well share it with you guys today. Now, as always with all my builds and my build videos, I will have a link in the description, which is a dim link. If you click on that, it'll take you directly to the build and you can see everything I'm using as well as copy it for yourself. But yeah, without a further ado, let me get into the actual build itself and show you what to put on to be able to recreate the madness you're seeing in the gameplay right now. All right, for our subclass, we're going to obviously be on the Strand Hunter subclass. The only important things here are you need Gambler's Dodge to get your melee back, and you also need Threadling Grenade. For aspects, you want Widow Silk. This will just basically give us 2 Threadling Grenades. Then you also want Threaded Spectre, so when we do dodge, we create that clone of ourselves. That when it gets destroyed also creates Threadlings. For fragments, we want Thread of Binding. You don't necessarily have to run this. I just think the Strand Super is very bad on Hunter, and with this fragment it makes it a very good super. So in order for the super to be somewhat valuable and high-end content, I like running this. We're going to run Thread of Propagation just to make it where anytime we get a powered melee kill, we get unraveling round for our strand weapons. We're going to have Thread of Evolution, just makes our threadlings even stronger. And we're going to have Thread of Warding just to make sure we get that woven mail every time we pick up an orb of power. When it comes to the weapons for this build, there's really only one thing you need, and that is a strand primary. Most of my time when running this build, I run Rufus's Fury because I get demo with it and hatchling, which is nice, and it's a strand weapon, so I can use unraveling rounds with it. I do occasionally run this different times with subsistence hatchling. In the gameplay, I was running Fourth Horseman. It's not needed for the build. I was just running it because of the shotgun surge at the time during the onslaught. But honestly, you can run whatever exotic you want. I just recommend a strand weapon. Honestly, even something like Final Warning would go great with this build, but it's entirely up to you. Just make sure you have something strand. For our exotic, we're going to be using the 6 Coyote. This just basically gives us 2 dodges, so therefore we can create 2 clones of ourselves and also get our melee back very frequently. For mods on the helmet, we're going to run Harmonic Siphon, so that we're creating orbs every time we get strand multi-kills. We're going to run Dynamo, so that every time we are actually using our dodge near enemies and creating that clone, we're getting some super back. On the arms, we're going to run 2 copies of Grenade Kickstart. This is just basically to make sure we have as much Threadling Grenades as possible. And then we're also going to run Firepower, because this actually works with Threadling Grenades to create an orb of power. On the chest piece, we're going to run Charged Up so that we can have an extra stack of armor charge, and then run whatever resistance you prefer. On our boots, we're going to run stacks on stacks to make it where our orbs of power give us 2 armor charges. So when running this with Charged Up, it only takes 2 orbs to get to 4 stacks of armor charge. We're also going to run 2 copies of Innervation, just once again to get our grenade back as fast as possible. All right, then on our class item, we're going to run Reaper. Since we are dodging a lot, we're going to use this to be able to create orbs every time we get a weapon kill after we dodge. We're also going to be running Bomber and Distribution just to make sure we get our abilities back even faster from a dodge. All right, for stats, you want to spec into Resilience first, and then I would go into Discipline and then Mobility. That's the order of importance, but honestly, it is up to you. Just make sure you have at least 100 resilience just so you're getting that damage resistance. But yeah, that right there is the whole build. Let me show you some more gameplay and basically explain how to use it properly. All right, so yeah, that's the whole build. The whole premise of this build is to have fun creating as much Threadlings, little minions as possible. We have a couple ways of doing that. Our main way is going to be with our Threadling Grenade, which due to Strand, will have the ability to have 2 of them. The whole mod system and build basically is set up to get as many grenades as possible. So all the orbs we're getting, all our charge with light, all of that deals with getting our grenade pickup. Every time we get a kill with our grenade, it will also create an orb too to help the kind of the rotation be a bit better. On top of that, we'll be running the 6 Coyote Hunter exotic, which will give us 2 dodges. And that combined with the shadow clone jutsu that we have where we dodge, it'll create the clone. If you destroy that or melee that, which you see in the gameplay, I like to use my hunter melee to destroy it a lot. It will actually create more threadling. Now, also on top of all of that, every time you get a kill with the melee itself, it'll give you unraveling rounds. If you use this build this season, there is that artifact mod where grabbing an orb will give you unraveling rounds. So put that on. But if you're watching this after the final shape pretty much has come out, that will not be an option for you. But basically, yeah, the whole rotation is just create as much green things on the screen at once. Throw as many grenades. Make sure you're getting as many melee kills as possible to make sure you're refreshing your unraveling rounds as much as possible. Make sure also anytime you don't have your melee or you're in like a sticky situation, there's a bunch of ads. Make sure you're dodging out of there. By doing that, you'll create that clone that will distract enemies as well as refresh your melee grenade with Gambler's Dodge. Make sure you're also grabbing as many orbs as possible because of our grenade kickstart and our mods. And in case anytime you get overwhelmed with this build, you can always pop your super, and by getting a kill with your super, it'll suspend everything in the area. It is a very strong get out of jail free card pretty much. But yeah, that's the whole build. If you like it or have any critiques on it, please let me know down below in the comment section. I do try to make sure to read all of them whenever I can. If you have any recommendations or any kind of wish lists for builds you'd like to see in the future, please let me know. I try to make all of them. Like I said, the next one, try not to recommend or ask for anything hunter related, because I do have a lot of hunter builds already and I kind of need to deviate into some other classes. Also, please let me know any type of builds or anything you want to see coming up in the final shape, considering Prismatic is about to change the entire game. But yeah, as always, if you like what you see, feel free to subscribe, and I'm gonna leave it there. I'm gonna let the rest of the Onslaught gameplay finish out without me talking over it, so you can digest the whole build. And all you fine ladies and gentlemen, have a great rest of your day.
Guardian down.